healthy relationship. Doing so shows a sign of life in the relationship. Not doing so is challenging your relationship to never change. It's like walking on the beach and seeing the water wash ashore, but expecting to go back and still seeing your footprint. You have to accept that things change. Relationships change. Sometimes they become problematic when the other partner refuses to acknowledge moments where one, if not both of you, have failed. Apologizing for mistakes does wonders to increase your humility and make your significant other feel valued. Sometimes you don't even realize that there's something to apologize for, but that's when it takes an act of vulnerability. At the end of each day, if you truly value your relationship, take inventory of your missteps, of your lack of communication, or perhaps your inability to show up, and be woman or man enough to apologize before you turn out the lights for the evening. Now, fourth, you've got to listen. The word itself, conversation, stems from the Latin term which means act of living with. Con, with, versation, living with. No one enjoys the thought of spending their lives with someone who's an aggressive dominant at all times. Listen, you can't top the relationship all the time. You can't be disinterested in everything. You can't be distant when you feel like checking out. When speaking with your significant other, you have to actively listen. Listening is an action verb. It actually takes work. When your partner shares with you or doesn't share, you have to dig deeper and engage. Ask them to further explain the details of any event that happened or is happening. Ask them how it made them feel. Don't be quick to cut to the checkout. Listen, you can get there, but it takes work. So listen, it's an act, and it's the act of living with someone. Lastly, you got to speak up. Now, we all know that loving well and being loved well is a two-way street. The traffic for real love flows both ways. Failing to voice your truth in any given relationship does a disservice not only to yourself, but in the relationship that you are sharing. When you love your significant other or any person, you want them to know what you are thinking because you want them to act not based on the way you're acting, but how you feel. But if you choose to not voice that, then what you're doing is creating an unequal balance in the relationship where the expectation is for your partner to respond to how you feel, when in fact, they're just responding to how you're acting. So you have to be big enough and vulnerable enough to speak up on your own behalf. It helps you to know them more, and it helps them to know you more. Now, you have to apply that logic at all times. If you want to know what your partner is thinking, you have to also be vulnerable enough to share what you're thinking, even if there is a little hesitation on your part because you're not sure of what the answer will bring. To hyper-conjecture about the anxiety of not knowing does a disservice to you and to your relationship. So in all fairness, don't fight a losing battle when your partner doesn't even know the battle that they're fighting. All of it all trickles down to vulnerability, and it's a high price to pay, but the cost that it'll cost you is willing to lose someone that you love when in actuality, they're paying for something that they never even knew the price for. Be strong enough. Value your relationships enough. Value yourself enough. So again, show up. Speak up. Listen up. Fess up and be vulnerable enough to open up. I love you guys so much for listening. You guys take care of yourself. Be kind to others, even if they aren't kind to you. I love you for listening. I'll check you out next week. Same time, same place. God willing, and the creek don't rise. Peace.